Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Vandana Chakravarti, Director, Lifelong Learning and Extension in SNDT Women's University. Today we are going to learn about communication with adult learners. Communicating in an appropriate manner is extremely important for holding the attention of learners in a literacy program. It is essential that the literacy functionaries have communication skills that attract the learners and hold their attention in a literacy class. Let us look at the objectives of this module. The objectives of this module are to illustrate appropriate nonverbal communication, to identify negative listening behaviors, to practice positive listening skills with adult learners. Behavior is manifested through individuals' patterns of communication. Communication refers to reciprocal exchange of information, ideas, beliefs, feelings, and attitudes between individuals or among a group of persons. It is a goal-directed process in which people use signs and symbols to convey message. We communicate when we talk, and we also communicate when we don't talk. We communicate when we move and when we are still. We communicate within ourselves and with others. Communication is the core of interpersonal relations. Unless we are in deep sleep, we are communicating. Verbal communication is not merely talking or listening. Verbal communication is only one component of communication. One component of communication between people. Now we will look at some of the main elements that you need to learn and use in order to make your work of a literacy functionary easier. Now, what is non-verbal communication? Without using words, we communicate with a look, with an expression, with a gesture, or with a groan. Appearance, posture, gait, and voice tells us much more about people than words may tell. These elements of communication are non-verbal, mostly unconscious, and occur at instinctive levels. More about people than they may tell us in words. These elements of communication are non-verbal, mostly unconscious, and occur at instinctive levels. Yet, we can train ourselves to bring them to consciousness and take control of these elements. We communicate with our eyes. Eyes are windows through which you see persons inside. Eyes express emotions and attitude. Eye contact is a common means of expressing love. Gaze aversion is interpreted as unwillingness to interact. A strong gaze may indicate dominance or aggression, and a person with little eye contact is seen as submissive or shy. Eye movements indicate that we are attending to others. Eyes are used to open and close communication channels between people while speaking in turns. A period of eye contact often starts an interaction during which you look at a person who is talking to you. The person looks away while she is speaking, once in a while checking whether you are looking or listening. After she has finished, this gaze is returned to you to signify it's your turn to speak. Learn to use this understanding. Skills are formed by repetitive use. To initiate control of non-verbal behavior, role plays are very useful. If you are a shy person, you can still learn to get out of your shell by allowing eye contact to be made. Instead of looking into yourself, learn to look into somebody else. The fear of the unknown other will melt as communication channels open up. You communicate with facial expressions. When we look at people, we are not only looking into their eyes. Facial expression is one of the most important means of communicating non-verbally. We look at a face, we can say whether the person likes or dislikes, understands or not. Faces can communicate interest and involvement. They can also express emotional status ranging from happiness to despair. Feelings are often reflected on the face even if the person wishes to disguise them. Face responds instantly and is the most effective feedback to another person. Facial expressions as actions may be difficult to control even in our own cases, but they can be brought under control with a bit of practice. Acting is not merely for actors, doctors, nurses, waiters. All of us act out roles. Role playing in small informal groups with sufficient feedback can improve our communication skills. Communicating with gestures, hand gestures are second in importance to facial expression in nonverbal communication. Some people with hearing and speech disabilities use gestures successfully in interpersonal communication. So the power of this element should not be understated. We use gestures normally to repeat, emphasize, or even contradict our verbal messages. You wave and also say goodbye. This is an example of a repetition of both verbal and non-verbal component, that is emphasizing each other. If someone says she's all right but throws her hands in despair, this is an element of contradiction between the verbal and non-verbal components. Appearance also communicates. Appearances serve to differentiate between people, the old from the young, the formal from the informal, doctor from patient, the judge from accused. Appearances convey messages about social strata, personality, attributes, and even emotional states. Personal appearances not only affect our own self-image but also our behavior and the behavior of the people around us. The style of dress, the hair, the cosmetics, or jewelry provides the basis for first and sometimes lasting impressions. Appearances are often deceptive, but we nevertheless depend on using them in our day-to-day interactions with people. The change or modifications in your daily appearance changes the behavior of people. Now, posture and gait is also important. The way a person sits, stands, walks, reacts, her attitude towards herself and her relationship to others can be seen. Posture can reveal warmth, harmony with others, and the status and power in relation to other people. People consciously adopt different postures to those whom they like or dislike. People with higher status are relaxed in the presence of their juniors who maintain a formal posture. When we interact with people we like, we tend to lean forward. When somebody whom we do not like interacts with us, we tend to lean back to distance ourselves. A person entering the literacy center walking slowly with hunched shoulders may be thought of as timid, whereas a straight back and purposeful gait may convey confidence. Sometimes we may be deceived by such inferences, but more often than not, we are proved right. Each individual has his own characteristic style of posture and gait which reflects his personality and self-image. Conscious adoption of postures and gaits which signal to other people positive messages can be the first step that we need to take to change the behavior or people around us. This will slowly change your self-image and your personality as well in due course of time. How do we communicate through proximity and touch? You may deal with a learner in the center, or you may also meet people on the road or in the village. The distance that we keep while interacting with people depends to a certain extent on where we are. It also depends on who we are. People have personal spaces around them which shrink and expand depending on the situations. People unconsciously adopt their positions in a social gathering. Proximity which encroaches this personal space conveys intimacy. You cannot expect to be intimate with all the villagers. If you are within 1.5 feet of a person, you are in an intimate space. From 1.5 feet to 4 feet is personal space. From 4 feet to 12 feet is social space, and beyond that is public distance. If you learn to regulate your distance from people depending on situations, you can produce better results. Negative listening behavior. Let us look at negative listening behaviors. How do you listen to people? This is extremely important in your communication. While interacting with learners, do they feel listened to? Do they feel you are interested in them and attending to them? Let us look at some of the negative listening behaviors. First is giving advice even if you aren't asked for it. Say something like, you should, if I were you. For example, Kunda, a learner, reports late to the literacy class which starts at 9 in the evening. And she says that she is late because her son and husband were not ready to have early dinner. The volunteer teacher advises the learner by saying that if I were you, I would have asked them to serve themselves. This is unsolicited advice. We don't know the interruption of Kunda. Interrupting the speaker while she is talking. Kusum, who is excited about literacy class which she has joined, informs the volunteer teacher, I was practicing literacy skills at home under the guidance of my... Now, before she completes her sentence, the teacher says, there is no need to take anyone's help. Practice on your own. This is rude and disrespectful. The learner may feel dejected. Trying to top the speaker's story with a better one of your own. Yet another negative point. Sarika Tai has been able to master the content of the first 3 chapters in a week and proudly reports this to the class. Instead of encouraging Sarika Tai, the teacher says, that's not a big deal. In the other class, in this very village, there is a woman older to you who has mastered 4 chapters, 4 lessons of the primer in a week. Now, this is certainly not encouraging. Putting the speaker down by criticizing behavior, saying things like, that's dumb, or why would you do that? An enthusiastic learner, Naseem Bano, tells the class that in order to check if she could add and subtract as what she has learnt in the class, she counted mangoes on one tree and then mangoes on another tree, and at the end of it got confused because she forgot how many mangoes she had actually counted. Now, instead of giving constructive suggestions to Naseem Bano, like after counting mangoes on one tree, write the number of mangoes on the ground with the help of a stake. You know, otherwise you will forget the number. The volunteer teacher comments, that's dumb, why would you do that? The learner will certainly feel discouraged with this response. Changing the subject to something unrelated to what the speaker is talking about. Now, Jennifer shared her experience about how arithmetic taught in the class is helping them to update self-help groups' accounts. After sharing this, Jennifer expects appreciation from others in the class and from the teacher. But instead of responding to her, the teacher changes the topic and starts talking about something else, like maybe cleanliness in the class. Jennifer would certainly feel ignored. Lean over and start whispering to someone else while the speaker is talking is yet another negative behavior. It is necessary to pay full attention to the learners while the class is on. For instance, when the teacher has asked the student to read aloud a lesson, and instead of paying attention to this task, the teacher starts whispering to someone else, the learner may feel unimportant and ignored. One more negative behavior is to listen carefully first and then begin to look bored, gaze around the room, sigh, look at your watch, roll your eyes, etc. For example, the learners are discussing a picture in the primer. The picture depicts a Gram Sabha, that is a general body meeting of the entire electorate at the village level. Since the learners have actually had a meeting in the immediate past and some of their issues were unresolved in that meeting, the learners have a long discussion. One particular learner, Shantabai, starts narrating her issue which was unresolved in the Gram Sabha. The teacher looks bored in the midway and starts yawning and looking out of the door. This is certainly discouraging. Yet another negative behavior is disagreeing with the speaker. Each time she says something, challenging her and say what she thinks the learner should be actually doing. The learners have been asked to read aloud an application which they have written to the bank manager for sanctioning loan for some economic activity. Now Jodha writes to the manager of Bina Bank for a loan of 10,000 rupees for purchase of 2 goats. While she reads her application, the teacher interrupts Jodha and disagrees with her on each and every point. Why do you prefer Bina Bank? Why not Nutan Bank instead? Why 10,000 rupees? Why don't you ask for bullocks instead of goats? At the end of it, the learner may not want to write the loan application at all. Yet another negative point is starting to read, starting to draw or scribble while the person is talking, while the learner is talking. Teacher asks the learner to read aloud a lesson one by one. While they are following her instructions and reading the lessons, she engages herself in writing her administrative reports, filling registers and doing all kinds of other tasks. This certainly constitutes negative communication. Now we just learnt about negative listening behaviors. It is not enough to avoid negative listening behaviors. The learners must be actively listened to. Let us look at what are some of the positive listening skills. First is give the speaker your full attention. Stop doing other things, remove distractions and turn to face the learner. The teacher may have to perform several tasks other than teaching. While she is engaged with the learner, she should pay full attention to them. The teacher must lean towards the speaker. While communicating with the learner, use your body language. Use your body language appropriately. Leaning towards the learner will indicate undivided attention to the learner and make the learner feel very important. Make eye contact with the speaker. Unless that would be rude in some cultures don't make eye contacts, but otherwise this is important. Nod or shake your head in response to the speaker's comments. When you shake your head in response to the speaker, in response to the speaker's explanations, observations, remarks, the speaker knows that the listener is attending and she feels very encouraged to communicate more and more. Make verbal responses that let the speaker know you're listening, such as okay, haha, yes, or go on. Change your facial expression to reflect appropriate emotion such as concern, excitement, fear, and so on. The learners check for your approval or disapproval, your encouragement, etc. in your expression. Check out the meaning of the speaker's message. Say what you think. Say what you think she is saying and ask if that is correct. For instance, Shantabai was reading out a letter she wrote to her son living in Mumbai, informing the son of her daughter's marriage. She wrote that she is happy that the marriage is fixed, but worried about how the daughter will deal with the responsibilities of married life. The teacher asks Shantabai, "What are you worried about? Is the girl too young to be married? Is the daughter underage?" Shantabai clarified that she is not underage, but being the youngest child in the family, she has never taken any responsibility so far. Shantabai felt understood. It is important to check the meaning of the speaker's message. Try to figure out what the speaker is feeling and check to see if you are correct. Let us look at this example. Revati was unable to write the joint alphabets taught in the class for the first time. She pushed the book and threw the pencil on the floor. The teacher noticed it and said, "You are feeling hopeless because you are unable to write joint alphabets." Revati felt understood and said, yes. Teacher encouraged her by saying, "You are trying it for the first time. With some practice, you will surely be able to do it." Do not interrupt unless time is an issue and you have to be somewhere else or you have to be doing something else. In that case, apologize and ask to finish the conversation at another time. The listener must ask questions to clarify what the speaker is saying. For example, "Are you saying this?" or "I'm not sure I understand. Could you tell me more about that?" Sunita shared in the class that her daughter was not going to school since she was required to help in the housework. The volunteer teacher was disturbed that in spite of discussion in the literacy class about importance of educating girl child, daughters of learners were dropping out of school. "Do you mean that she has dropped out of school?" the teacher asked. "No," said Sunita. "She was home for 2 days to help with guests." Clarification was helpful. Now compliment the speaker with statements like, "I really liked the way you handled that," or "It sounds like you're really trying to deal with this." Let us look at this example. Members of Renuka Devi self-help group decided to do farming as a group activity. They rented a farm of Anil Bhau. They planted groundnuts and reaped a good harvest. They did everything from preparing the soil for planting to selling the produce. This gave them confidence to upscale their activity next year. They were amply complimented by the volunteer teacher and the prerak, who said, "We really liked the way you handled that." The learner, who was a member of Renuka Devi self-help group, who shared this matter in class, was elated. Last but not the least, reflect the speaker's message back. Say something like, "I think you are saying this," or "It sounds like that." Sunita Bai was narrating to the learners about her own wedding, which took place when she was 14 years old. She described how scared she was about being scolded for her mistakes and how she lost her health due to repeated pregnancies and her other health problems that followed. The literacy class exposed her to many issues. Now Suman Bai does not want to get her daughter married till she is at least 23 years old. Teacher summarized her talk by saying that you have understood that your health problems were due to early marriage and pregnancies, and you want to protect your daughter from going through the same problems, and hence you have decided that you will marry her when she is at least 23 years old. Communicating in an appropriate manner is extremely important for holding the attention of the learners in a literacy program. This module illustrates that communication is not merely talking and listening. Without using words, we communicate with a look, with an expression, a gesture, or a groan. As a literacy functionary, while communicating with the learner, negative listening behaviors have to be avoided. Positive listening skills have to be practiced. Thank you.